What's up, guys? Nailed it. Let's get this other stuff set up real quick. Yep. Get a garage band open up. Been kind of slack. That's sort of what I'm going to be talking about in this episode. All right, new project. Not a movie, a podcast. So we're going number 141. Create. How you like that? Pretty neat, huh? What? All right, let me bring this in here. And put it right there. Put it right there. See what this sounds like. I think I did I did something different on it last time, but I can't remember. I was half asleep. What up, Liz? Yeah, that's right. Live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool there. So anyway, yeah, let me get this set up so I can start going live. Well, recording audio. I'm already live. Hey. I get in trouble every time I play music by other people. I get emails. I don't like getting the emails and stuff. I did even last time when I played stuff and I was like, I don't really care. I get in trouble because this is my only channel and I kind of want this channel to become monetized. I don't want to risk getting the boot because YouTube's booting people for all kinds of stuff these days. Anyway, what I was going to talk about. All right, I'm going to go ahead and record audio. Okay, so first off, I've already said it in the intro, I'm sure, but sorry for not being as active on the podcast this week. I know I try to release a couple times a week, and I have not been as active as I would like to be, just because when the summertime shows up and I start playing gigs, and I realize that this is probably my first year where you guys have had an entire year with me, and now we're getting to the point, and I've always had to have this talk with friends of mine, and I have always had this. I've always said, like, anytime that we're hanging out in the wintertime, and I'm like, well, soon you're not going to be seeing as much of me as you do now, just because whenever the summer kicks off, I'm going to be busy. I'm not really going to feel much like hanging out or anything whenever I'm not working, because I'm not good at that. Like, I'm just not good at maintaining that kind of energy to be able to put into hanging out and work. And I don't know why I'm not good at that, but I'm just not. And that's what happens. So, and I haven't had that, let's say, talk with people in a very long time. So this is my having that talk with people. I'm sorry that I'm not as involved in things lately. I know I haven't been going to trivia. I haven't been hanging out with people. I've been missing the friend dinners and such and stuff like that. And it's just the summer's getting kicked off, and I have not been doing the best financially lately as far as like having extra dollars to do stuff like that. And I mean, every now and again, I'll be able to do something fun, but I've just not been able to do things like I would like to. And actually, that's not entirely true. I've actually been doing the things I like to do, which is like sit at home and do nothing. But I have been just neglecting a lot of people, and forgive me for that. Just, it's summertime, and whenever I have more time over the winter, and after summer's over with, I will be still used to going out X amount of times a week. And the longer the winter goes on, the fewer days of the week I am committed to going out. And it's weird, right? How dare I have a life, Liz? How dare I? How dare I? But yeah, I don't know. I get, I was typing the name of this episode thinking, like, what am I even going to talk about? And as I talked about it, or typed it in, I thought about it and was like, oh shit, this is what I need to talk about today. This is my episode content, because I do have a lot of friends, and I haven't told them in a very long time that, hey, whenever summer's coming around, you're not going to see as much of me as usual. And even now, even the summer or winter time even included, like this winter, I stayed home a lot. And and actually, as far as depression goes, this is one of the like best winters I've ever had as an adult. And I do have friends, Liz. I am lucky, and they do want to hang out with me. It is pretty crazy. Liz saw the unicorn walk into a bar the other day, and I have people that I haven't seen in forever, and then people who I've only seen over the internet, that like getting to meet me finally, and having just things like that happen. And that's the thing. Like, I try to, that's why I do this. That's why I try to do this thing, Liz. Liz says we've been very available to her, so she's cool. And I'm like, that's what I try to be, is available to everybody this way, so that I'm like, and I'm sorry that I'm not physically there, but I really I know that it's hard to understand if you're not like me. If you're not like an introvert, if you're not like a homebody, or I don't know, if you're not like me, it's very hard to understand. And I understand that. I understand that it's very difficult to understand, so that, you don't like, it's not that I don't want to be around. It's not that I don't want to be around you. It's not that I don't want to hang out. It's just that or not personal. It's just I would just rather be home by myself so that I stay comfortable and I don't have a risk of having a mental meltdown, because I know that the only time I have mental meltdowns is when I'm away from home, and I kind of try to stay away from that. And yeah, I don't know. But like I said, I just remember a few years ago telling one of my friends that I was hanging out with a lot at the time, like, hey, you're not going to be seeing as much of me coming up soon. And she was like, oh, no. And I was like, yeah, well, why? Oh, no, why? Like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not going to, when the summertime comes around and I'm playing gigs and all this stuff's going on, I'm just not as much into hanging out as I would be otherwise. And every now and again, I'll have a good gig. I'll have a really good gig, and I'll like feel good about it and feel like energized even afterwards. And see, that's a thing that brother Timmy Pierce or some of my other musician friends will be able to validate for me as well. Is that some gigs you play and you get done and you feel like you just got done working an 8-hour shift doing manual labor. And this is just everybody. Oh yeah, everybody knows me. Oh, Brian. But Brian is a great songwriter. He is a hell of a songwriter, and Brian Rossler is one of the guys that gave me my first gig in Myrtle Beach when I got down. Well, not necessarily gave me my first gig, but just he ran the open mic. He ran the open mic for the living room in Myrtle Beach, the place where I used to play. And yeah, one of the first people I met down here, the first musician that I met in Myrtle Beach, hands down. Like, it was definitely him. But yeah, now everybody does know me, Liz. But but getting back to my point of shit, what was my point? I lost my train of thought. What was I just saying? I think I was making a comparison. Shit. Lost my train of thought. What was I saying, Liz? I know I was talking about like just not being around physically or shit. Hang tight for a second. And now this is something that audio people won't get to see, to validate for me as well. Okay, that's all I needed to know. Okay, got it. Had to go back and figure it out. Anyway, what I was saying was that playing a gig, sometimes I'll leave a show and I'll feel good and feel energized, and I'll like stop somewhere on the way home and see somebody. And I've done that like a couple of times recently. Like I stopped by the Island Bar the other night after a gig. Because Jamie's band was playing and Liz was there, and I got done at Drunken Jack's a few nights ago, and Jimmy Mowry was playing at Dead Dog, and I stopped by there to see him for a minute. And Jimmy was on The Voice this past season, and I don't do that a lot. I really don't do that a lot. Even Liz can validate that. Brian is like seeing you is like seeing a unicorn. You know, it's like you don't see me out much, and that's true. You never see me show up at anything, and I know that's probably not something that I should say, and I'm not proud of it in any way. I'm just saying that's just how I am. I don't say that's how I am as in that I will never change. I'm just saying that's how I am now, you know. But yeah, I don't go out a lot. But the point I was making about shows is sometimes you'll finish a show and you'll feel energized, and you feel like rejuvenated, like you've gained something that you've missed over the last however long you've been playing or whatever. And you leave and you're pumped up and you're like ready to go for the evening. And it's like being someone whose work day starts no earlier than 6-7 o'clock usually PM. Like you just being someone whose workday starts that late, having that kind of energy after the sun has gone down isn't a that's a rare thing, is what I mean. And I just saying that I bet Timmy Pierce and some of my other musician friends who listen to the podcast could confirm that other gigs, like if you're doing a gig, there has to be a certain amount of energy in a room to maintain a successful gig. And if you're not getting that energy from the audience and you have to pump it all out yourself, you will do that because you're an artist, and we will do that because we're artists. But afterwards, you are so drained emotionally. And what's up, Honey Badger? You're so drained emotionally and mentally that you're just exhausted and you don't want to talk to anybody, and you're probably a little difficult to be around, and you're probably not in your best mood. And that's just something that happens all the time for me because I haven't received the energy from the crowd that the room needed to make the show, go well, I think. So I feel like, and I'm not playing guitar today because I've played guitar for 5 days in a row and it's got a pop string right now. So sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, just sometimes I'll leave that gig after I've done, like we did Brass Tap the other night, and I let Adam and Smitty for the most part pick all the songs yesterday, because I picked just about the whole set list the night before. And burping up some water. The vampire audience, that's right. There is no pulse in the room. But no, seriously, and I don't mind that at all. Sometimes there's gigs that I play where I expect that. So if there's one person in the room that paid attention, and it's actually a compliment that I give a lot to people, and they don't take it. I don't know that they take it as a compliment like I mean it, but it's the highest compliment that I can give somebody in the audience if I say your energy really meant a lot. And I'm not saying that as like your energy really meant a lot, your aura was so calming in this room. I don't mean it like that. I mean just like the energy that you give me by only paying attention and appreciating what I'm doing helps me not have to give that amount of energy that you're providing to the room, So if you are helping, if an audience member is just paying attention, and honestly, I don't even need this audience member to clap or make noise. If I just know that they're paying attention and nod, every now and again, or just like give me that approval, I guess, that I forever am seeking. Yeah, Super Bowl Sunday. But that's the highest compliment that I can give somebody who, if someone comes up to me, and it happens all the time after we finish a gig, every single time somebody comes up and, great job. We really dug y'all. Thank you so much for doing this. And competing with the television is ridiculous, but I counter it because you guys know that I'm a talker, obviously. So between songs, I'll talk about what's on TV so that we can all, like, in the room, like, I harness that energy as well, like the energy that I know there are people that are watching TV. There's a bit that I did at the Brass Tap a while back, and if there's any of my Brass Tap people that listen to the podcast, I'm actually going to tag in this. I talk about there was a strongman competition on one day, just a random ass strongman competition on in the corner, and between songs for like I would say that night I probably talked half of the time and played music half of the time. And that was one of the better gigs I've ever had. You know, the crowd was involved and we were all just laughing at shit that that was going on TV, because my job is not just technically my job is not to play music. My job is to keep people at the place to keep people there. My job is to keep people in a bar and keep them buying drinks. Keep them. Let me flip this phone over. I keep looking at it every time it lights up. But keep people at the bar, to keep them spending money. That's my job, and it just so happens that I play music to do that. And the dang TV. But that's what I'm good at is just talking to the room, like talking to them. Like I'm really good at using and I call it situational humor, where you just like talk about the things that's going on but only point out the funny stuff, and that really does well for the room. And it's just, I think there's something to be said for that. Like, and a lot of people are, every single time we go to play at a place where there's a television on behind us, they'll walk up and they'll turn the TV off, because you don't want people looking at you, but they're not actually looking at you. They're looking at the TV behind you. But I never gave a shit about that. I really don't care. I'm a fan of television, and I grew up on it. And oh yeah, it might be getting down this way. I know it's supposed to rain like all weekend, and I guess the weekend is still happening. So Liz says it's raining up in Charlotte. But anyway, yeah, just really cool to use every tool that you have at your disposal. It's like the TV being on is an extra tool that I get to watch. See, here's the thing, if the crowd is really responding, like the gig we did yesterday, there's a gig we do up in North Myrtle Beach, and there's a certain rooms that we play at, and this is nothing negative about these rooms, but certain rooms that we play where we have to play certain types of music, and I'll say that, and I did say that I let Adam and Smitty pick most of the songs, and I did, but I did veto a couple just because I was like, this might not be the room for it. This might not be the place for it. And that's fine. That's fine. That I said that we did most of those last night, and I try to protect myself, because I know me. I try to protect those songs that I like from myself in a way, to where if it's a song that I really, really like, but I know that we're going to do it every single gig, that means that the more often that we play that song, the less important it is to me. I think that things that are very important don't happen that often. The great things don't happen that often. If they do, what makes them great? That's my logic. Am I right on that? I would like validation or incorrectness. I want to know I want to know if I'm wrong with that as well. But if something happens great all the time, does that mean that it's still great? I get it. The sunrise is beautiful. The sunset is beautiful. The moon rise and set is beautiful. I'm sure those things happen every day, and I understand that they're beautiful and they're great. But I mean, like, if we, my favorite song in the world is Bittersweet Symphony. I don't own it. I don't ever play it. I never play it. I want it to be special. I want it to remain special. Like, we all love birthday cake, but shit, you can't eat it all the time or you end up looking like me. I don't eat birthday cake all the time, but it wouldn't be a bad way to end up like me if you don't look like me already. But seriously though, what did I do there? But seriously though, if something happens all the time, it doesn't Like, I know that I will exile it, and I know that I will start to hate it. And I don't want to start to hate something that I love. And this happened to me before. I know one of my old roommates, if he ever listens to this podcast, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But one of my old roommates didn't do anything but talk about one particular person, one particular artist all the time. And I love this artist. And I do now. Again, but whenever he was living with me, and it was just all that we talked about was this one artist, this one all the time. And I just like started to hate it. I started to not want to hear anything about this because I get so bored so quickly musically that if we do the same thing over and over, I will get bored with it and I will start to hate that song, and I don't want to do that. But I realize that I'm not the only one. Like, maybe Adam or Smitty can listen to us play this same song every single gig and not get sick of it. And I understand that it's not all about me. You know, I know that I have to bite the bullet and do these things, and I will, because if the crowd wants to hear it, and then I'm all for it. If the crowd wants to hear it, I'm fine. And even if one of them wants to just play it, if they want to do the song, I'm fine with that. I'll do which Baker Street song? You mean Bakersfield? You don't know me, but you don't like me. But yes, getting back to the point, there are certain rooms where we have to play the variation of the same 20 songs that everybody wants to hear. Everybody's going to want to hear a Skynyrd song. Oh, Bobby McGee, after all these years. See, the songs that I'm sick of are the very popular songs. I'm sick of the Tennessee Whiskies, the Wagon Wheel, the Simple Man, the Jerry Rafferty. I don't know if I've heard that one. Did you send that one day at all? I don't know that I've heard it. But still, I get sick of playing the same old Lynyrd Skynyrd songs that I've played since I first started playing guitar. And just certain artists that I just dislike because of their politics, and not because of their politics, but just because I know their politics. I just don't think that that's an intelligent thing for an artist to do. I don't think that it's worth it, one, to put yourself on a side as an artist. As a person, do what you want. But as an artist and as a whatever you want to call that, I just don't think it's wise for people to just announce their politics like that. And there's just certain artists that I don't like to do because of that. There's certain artists that I don't like to do because they ended up getting caught with because they ended up getting caught with child pornography, like the guitar player for Brand New. But I'm not going to dismount the entire band because it's the guitar player. I'm not going to blame the rest of the guys because of what he fucking did. But I will stop playing Ryan Adams songs because he is the one who wrote the songs and is still sending inappropriate text messages to a girl who happened to be 14 at the time. And I'll have to check it out later, Honey Badger. Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty. Gary or Jerry? Doesn't matter. Parks and Rec. There you go, Parks and Rec. Gary or Jerry? Gary, Jerry, Larry, Terry, Gergich, Gingrich. But anyway, yeah, these same few songs have to be played at certain gigs, and we'll do that because we know that it means a lot to the crowd. But I think here's what bothers me about these people, and I am one who is self-admittedly I notice things. I notice things that people do. I notice little quirky things that Room does, like the hive mind stuff, like how somebody sees one person do it and it's very monkey see, monkey do. I just notice certain things about people that I don't think everybody else notices. And I don't know, it's probably to do with my, whatever, my weird quirkiness and my personality and shit and how strange I am. But I do notice things that people do that not everybody else notices. And I have noticed that these people who go to a restaurant or a bar, they don't really care that much for the song that you ask for, for the song that they ask for. They don't really care so much about the song. They just want to be able to ask you to play a song that they know that you know how to play, so that they will, for a little bit, have felt like that they had that little bit of control over you for just a second. And that's really all they care about. And it's not really that they have that control over you. I guess that's just a way that somebody like me would look at something like that. But what it is they want to have, like, they just want to feel included. That's all it is. They just want to feel included into the situation. And they know that if by asking you to play a song that they know you're going to know, then they're like, I have now contributed to the joy in this room as a person. Like, I've asked for this song that I know everybody else in this room wants to hear. And it's almost like going to a bar and playing something on the jukebox and the entire room just goes nuts. Then you feel like, I did this, I created this, and I'm fine with that, and I love that. It's more of a game for me. Like, I play it like a game. I play gigs like a game. I go and I'm like, I do baseball rules, and I rarely make it out of the top of the first. I will go into a room and I'll say, hey guys, my name's Kelsey Hudgens. Hey guys, my name's Kelsey Hudgens. I'm going to be playing some songs for you today, which is probably not a secret, seeing as how I'm holding this guitar. Anything you want to hear, feel free to holler it out. There's a 10% chance I'll know it. I'll do 10% of what I don't know, 100% of what I do know, within reason, of course. This is a family establishment, and that usually stays about the same every time I say it. And then I make it a game. And that's that. Yeah, I try to make the people feel at home. I do. And but I make it, like I said, I make it more like a game, so that if somebody asks me for something, I don't particularly have to have tried to play it before. I'm just going to say, ooh, this is fun. This is a challenge. This is something that I guess, and if I can get through in my head, I'll speed through a first verse and a chorus. If I can get through a first verse and a chorus in my head, I'll do that. And then I'll do that and then stop prematurely and say, I said in the beginning 10%, and I feel like I did more than 10%. But by baseball rules, I say, if somebody wants to ask me for a song, then I might not know that song, but I may know another song by the same artist, and ask those people, like, is it cool if I do another one by them? I don't know that one, but I can do this one. And then they'll hear the other song that I can do, and they say, yeah, that'll be fine, do that. So I'll call that like a sacrifice fly, runner's advance, or, whatever have you. But I've been doing it a long time, Liz. I'm not going to say I'm a seasoned professional at this point, as you will. Thank you for pointing that out. But I'm still very, 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 very far away from that in my own mind. I just want to be professional about it. I don't want to be a professional. I just guess I want to change the way some people think. I want to change the way a lot of people think. But I'll tell you what I can do, and is I can play, when I get to a gig, I'll do a few starter songs. Usually, I hear you. Sometimes, Honey Badger, I'm the same way. Sometimes, like if I'm not in a good mood and I don't give that whole spiel at the beginning of the gig, and usually these are better gigs when I don't ask the crowd to try to make requests. Because when they do try to make requests, I'm going to play them because I know these people are going to tip me. And when it all comes down to it, I need to make money. So I'm going to play you the song if I know that it's going to warrant getting a tip from you. And there's certain people who I'm going to play those songs anyway because I know that you want to hear them. And then they'll come up to put tip money in the jar and I'll say, nonsense. Don't do that. And I always say that. Anytime I say nonsense, that means I wanted to play that song for you because I wanted to make you happy, not because I wanted your tip. So anytime I say nonsense, that's what that means. So there's that. Anyway, by the way, I really need to start making clips of these videos. I noticed that I'm not getting as many views as I used to get. And I think that's because my damn videos are just too long. And I know that people don't have as much time as I do, where I can sit around for 6 hours a day and watch YouTube videos and watch people do streams and such. But I really need to start making some short clips out of these things and doing a little bit more computer work after I get done. But the thing that sucks is that I don't have recorded video of these streams. These are just streams. All I have is the recorded audio, and audio clips aren't really that. I don't know. I guess I could just do a picture and do the audio clip. But anyway, side thought. I guess I'll and I still make side notes in these things. Like I still listen to every single episode, and I haven't in a really long time. I haven't listened to the episodes. Maybe I should. Maybe I'll listen to them and figure out what needs to go different next time. Anyway, beside the point. And yeah, Liz, that's actually, before I move on from that quick point, that's actually the reason I didn't do a clips video of the song the other day. The I just cleaned the kitchen song or whatever it was or something. Because that video wasn't recorded. But I guess I could record the audio with like a screen. There's a way to do it. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way. But anyway, beside the point, I don't mind playing the songs that the crowd wants to hear, because seeing them happy because of something that I did means a lot to me. And I enjoy that feeling that I get when I know that I have created happiness, whether or not they selected the way in which I accomplish that. That doesn't matter to me. I don't mind that at all. Strawberry. By the way, if you can hear this, go to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, screwballwhiskey.com, SKREW That is in the center of the screen right now, ladies and gentlemen. That is not a link. You can't click it, but SKREWBALL whiskey.com, live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios, ladies and gentlemen. But because it's not recorded, it's not streaming. Like it's recorded on YouTube, but it's just not. I don't have like a hard recording, like a file recording of it that I can open up and edit. Like outside of YouTube's editing programs, but you can only edit the full video on YouTube's editor. You can't like. I don't know. Maybe it's just something I'm not very advanced on, videography and things like that yet. But I don't think you can download YouTube videos even if you are the one who published it. So I don't think you can download the YouTube videos after they've been published, but maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe somebody out there will hear this and let me know. But getting back to the other part of this, and I know my main point today is that I'm not hanging around as much just because of the energy in the room, and just because of not hanging around as much because of the energy that I have to match to each room every night. Sometimes that energy has to come all from me or all from the band, and which is an extension of myself and the band, as it is Adam or Smitty's. Like, we all are putting the same amount of energy out there for these people every time we're on stage. And it's just sometimes if the room's energy doesn't match that which we put out, or the room's energy just isn't there at all, and then it makes it rough. And I've noticed that sometimes when the room's energy is not there, like, some of us will get like really ill and just be like, well, fuck it, let's just fuck it, dude. I don't even give a shit, and just give up immediately just because the room's not there. But I mean, I've done gigs where there's been nobody at all. I've done gigs where there's nobody there at all, like 0 people. Appreciate you, Liz. Need all that energy. But yeah, I've done gigs where it was literally just me in the room, and I set my phone down and I recorded. I just recorded just that. I wanted to hear myself work through songs and stuff like that, and that's something that I've done for a really long time, is like record live shows and then listen back to them. And then I've always done that. And I started watching all these in the last year or so. I've started watching all these podcasts with comedians and such, talking about how they record their shows, they record their set, and they always listen to it back. They always listen to it so they can work through their things. And I'm like, I didn't realize I was using a comic trick. Like, that's a comics trick. I didn't know that comics did that they just record their sets and they listen back and find out, okay, I got to laugh here. This is where I'm going to, alter these things. But I did that when I had nobody in the crowd, just so I can hear it. Because I'm the worst critic I'm the worst critic, period. On anybody else or on myself, I am the worst critic. But it doesn't matter. I'm way worse on myself than I am on anybody else. And for those who know how bad I am on other people musically, there's only a few people who understand what that means. That I am way worse on myself than I am on other people. And brother Jamie Deluxe just went live on the Stone Philosopher, so we're gonna get out of here in a minute, scoot on over to that one. But still, just I need that mom fan base. I do, I really do. But just getting to the point to where shit, what am I trying to say? I lost my train of thought again as soon as Jamie went live, because now I want to get over there. Hold just a second there, YouTube. There's only a few people who understand. Yeah. Shit, what am I trying to say? To where I am very difficult on myself, and I am pretty hard on other people, like musically. Like I've and Smitty's probably caught the biggest brunt of that, just because I felt like it was my job to train him to do the djembe, because it was my job first in the band. And I guess that I'm like, since it was my job first in the band to play the instrument that he now plays, I felt like it was my then responsibility to train him to do that. So when he did something that was different from what I would do, because it was initially my job, then I felt it my responsibility to tell him, hey, do that this way instead. And then he would, of course, go, well, I'm going to do it my way because I do it that way. And then we would just argue about it. And I realized that just doesn't help anything. He's going to play how he's going to play, and I played how I was going to play. And that's just that we're different people. And that's all there is to it. And yes, I do think that my way of doing things is the best way of doing things. And I'm not ashamed of that because I know the effort that I've put into figuring out the right and best way to do things. And I don't trust that everyone else has put the same amount of effort into that as I have. One, because I have all of the extra time. I have all of the extra utilities and means and no family, no kids, no distraction, no jobs, nothing. I have none of that. I can utilize all of my time and have utilized all of my time over the course of my life, over my entire life, into figuring out the best way to do things. And I get really offended when people don't take my word for things that I've put a lot of time into figuring out. And I meet that with anger a lot of times just because I don't, because I know the wealth of information that I'm trying to pass on to people. And when they don't take that wealth of information that I'm trying to pass on to them, and I'm not talking about the music or anything anymore. I'm just talking about anything. When they don't take that thing that I've like thought a lot about. Like I've thought a lot about everything that I say. And if I haven't thought a lot about it, then I don't say anything about it. And there's only a few people who know how true that is too, but that's the fucking truth. If I don't if I don't know a lot about something, I don't talk a lot about something. And that's I don't think that people are taking for granted the things that I'm saying to them. And I just think that just because I'm saying them a lot of the times, they're like, okay, well, this can't be true because I know this person. I know this goofball. I know this dude that just wants to make everybody laugh and just be silly all the time. And I don't like that thought. I don't like not being taken seriously, and just I don't like people kind of like not. I don't people not heeding my words. I don't like people just letting what I say go over their head or in one ear and out the other. I really hate that. Because I'm not saying these things just because I want everybody to do things my way. I'm just saying these things because, listen, I've gone through every aspect of this, and I don't think that people are understanding how far ahead I think in how to do things. Like, I do certain things a certain way because I'm preventing so many other things that could happen. Not that they will, just that they could. Like I plan that far ahead, and I think that far ahead in aspects and ways to do things. And I could get very, very I get very discouraged when people don't take for granted some of those things that I say. And yeah, I guess that's just me saying that now. I just really wish that instead of people saying like, "Oh, well, here goes Kelsey on another one of those self-righteous rants about the right way to do things and being honest and shit like that," and I'm like, no, just like, I really wish that you would hear me, like listen to me and acknowledge that what I'm saying is correct, because I need that. And I know that it is. And just because of the things that I'm saying are based in fact. And if these things are based in opinion, I will specify they're based in opinion. But a lot of these things that I'm saying are like factual. So I just really want, I don't know. I just want to be trusted, I guess. I don't know why I feel that need. I guess the things that I said, what's up, Abby? How's it going? I guess that just not being taken seriously when I was a kid. I used to lie a lot when I was a child, and when I was little, like, I would just tell lies to make conversation to my parents and shit like that, and say lies to people, and I would just lie a lot. And it got to where everything that I said, nobody would listen to me, and I hated that. I hated not being listened to. And I just hated not being listened to. And Abby Jamie's got a live video right now. I think everybody scooted on over to that one, and I'm headed there in just a second too. But I just don't like, I don't like not being listened to. I don't like not being respected. You know, I don't like people not respecting the things that I've said, as like, I'm not telling you how to do something. I'm just trying to tell you the way that I've figured out is the best way. And trust me, I've troubleshot a lot of ways of doing things until I get to a certain point. Mentally, I troubleshoot things. I'm like, well, if I do this way, then this could happen, or this could happen. And I think of all the negative things that could happen, because that's the kind of brain that I have. And I figure out a way to prevent those things from happening. Billy Martin, who was here's a little baseball for you. And, well, thank you, Abby. But yes, absolutely. I just feel like Billy Martin, who is one of the better Yankees managers, was so paranoid that he thought that the opposing team, that we all want to matter. That's right. Absolutely. Ignoring the just anything that can possibly happen, I try to avoid that situation. But going back to Billy Martin, who was one of the better Yankees managers one of the Yankees managers back in the day. He got fired so many times. Billy Martin was so paranoid and possibly schizophrenic that he thought that what's up, Eminem? Billy Martin thought that the opposing team's manager was doing all these other different things. He was so paranoid that he thought that this is what this guy was going to do to trick me. He said, he's going to start this pitcher on this day because I'm expecting him to start this pitcher. So I need to alter my batting lineup to favor this pitcher that he's actually going to start, because he's saying he's going to start this one. But then he would start the other pitcher, and he would have changed his lineup, and he would lose the game because he overthought the situation. But in overthinking the situation, Billy Martin figured out that maybe they're not doing all of these things that I'm preparing for, that these tricks that he was so paranoid were being pulled on him were so genius that he began to use them against his opponents, and the Yankees started winning. And that's a huge deal. Like, that's a lot of what I do is based on that aspect of thought and that aspect of acting out things that you've thought of, and just making sure that, like, I've thought, because of the kind of brain that I have, I immediately think of the worst things that can happen. And I think if the worst thing and I start with the worst thing that can happen, and I work my way back to present, and I do that just immediately. I do that usually in an instant, because I've thought that way for so long. Usually something can happen, and an instant later I can have an entire list of things that could possibly go wrong. And I try to avoid that. I try to avoid that at all costs. And I just think through of different ways to go about a situation, and I choose the one that is the least likely to cause any problems at all. And I said to Adam the other night on the way home, And he's just so, oh, it just has to be your way. I'm like, no, it doesn't just have to be my way. It's that I'm saving you trouble for later. So whenever we get to the end of the night and I'm like, let me get my stuff in the car first, because Adam's going to have to be dropped off first. Therefore, Adam's going to have to be dropped off and take all of his equipment into his house. If when we get to Adam's house, if he has to move all of my stuff to get to his stuff, that's inconveniencing him. He says, oh, well, I don't mind it. And I'm like, well, but why put yourself through that? Just wait a second. Let me put my stuff in there. Then you can put your stuff on top. That way, when you get to your house, all you have to do is grab your stuff and go. This is making everything convenient for everybody. And I don't understand why that's such a problem. But that's just with that one situation with me and Adam. Like, I've thought about that. Like Adam's thinking about putting the things in the car right now, and I'm already thinking about taking the things out of my car at his house. Just like I think that, I'm just thinking that far ahead. I'm like, he's thinking about getting everything in the car right now so we can leave quicker. Not thinking that the time that you spend not thinking that the time that you save by just throwing everything in the car right now, you're going to spend later by having to take extra time to get everything out. It's just, and that's how I think. That's how my brain works. And I get really, really agitated when other people don't adopt those things that I do. And I know this is me being just super honest right now, and I guess the last part of this episode is just me talking about me, so I can hear so I can hear myself say these things about myself, and hopefully one day get over it. But that's how I am. I don't understand why, and I get so offended when I see somebody doing something one way after I've already figured out and showed them a better way to do it. And when they're like, well, it's not a better way, it's just not a better way. And I'm like, well, I hear you, but one day, might not ever happen, but you're at risk every single time you do this way of this thing happening. And they're like, well, what are the chances of that happening? Be like, could happen. For instance, sitting a drink without a lid, or sitting an open drink, a beer, anything wet on the floor of a gig without a lid. I keep my bottle, my jug cap on it. Anything that you sit on the ground at a gig, you're running a risk of getting the cables wet. You're running a risk of kicking it over, knocking it over, just because it's on the floor. It's out of sight. And I've always told Adam, dude, don't sit your beer down on the floor, man. Just please put it somewhere else. I know that it's one of those quirky things that I'm weird about, but please put it somewhere else. And it's always been like that. And I would say 1 out of every 3 times it gets kicked over and the cables get soaked. As a matter of fact, last time it happened, it was one of my cables that got wet, and I just gave it to him. I was like, just keep it. Just keep that cable. But I'm just the sort of person who's just take, exactly, know from experience, and just knowing I've experienced enough to know what could potentially cause some other mishap. I know it's not likely that this will happen, but it can happen. It's not probable, but it's possible. And I think that that is just enough cause for people to adopt my way of doing things. And when they don't, I get upset, because I've put a lot of thought and effort into coming up with the best way to do things. I'm not sure everybody else thinks that they have too, but I actually have the time and the energy and the thought, or the time to put into the thought, the time and the energy to put into the thoughts, that is not being robbed by other things in my life. And some people will look on that and feel bad for me because they're like, oh, he's alone and he doesn't have a family and he doesn't have this, what I think is a cookie cutter thing that everybody should have and at 32, or a desk job, or a 9-to-5, or some other normal thing that, or quote unquote normal thing that people think we should all have. And he doesn't have that, and they'll feel bad for me, and they don't understand that I've made these choices carefully, very carefully, as I make most of the choices in my life. I make most of the choices that I make very carefully, and I have not been doing that for very long. And once I realized that I could put this little weird quirky OCD that I have about how to play music and how to wrap cables and how to put shit into a vehicle when we're traveling, or how to fold up sheets, or how to fucking clean your house, or how to wash clothes, or how to put away laundry, or that weird OCD that I have in my life, if I could use that as a tool rather than feeling crippled by something or whatever have you, then I would have come up with a foolproof, seamless way to do just about everything. By the way, buy striped sheets. Because if you buy striped sheets, you'll never have to think, and you never have to figure out which way they go. You'll save, I don't know, however much time over the course of your life having to figure out what to do. Go this way or this way. You'll never have to know. The stripes always go the same way. We're at an hour, guys. I'm going to scoot over to Jamie's channel and see what he's got going on. But please go to all the social media pages. Go to mistuffpodcast.com, and all of the links to all of the social media is up there. If you guys want to follow me on social media, at Yonder Wizard, at Instagram, and on Twitter at Kelsey Hudgens. All of the other things are at the bottom of the page on the YouTube, or you can go to mistuffpodcast.com and click all the links at the top of the pages. There's links to everything. YouTube, Kelsey Hudgens. I am at 299 subscribers right now. We are one away from 300 subs. So trying to get there. Trying to get to that magic 300 number. And hopefully we will soon. I just reloaded it. See if we're still at 299. We're still at 299. I'm still hoping to get to that 300 number, and then we'll be on to our next milestone, which will be 420 subscribers. And then our next milestone will be 1,000. We really want to get to that 1,000, but I think to do that, I'm going to have to make some changes to how I do things on the channel and start making some clips. So let's hope. 700 by 4th of July. Let's see. I don't know if we can do that. I'd have to 700 more. I'd have to really say some either controversial shit. See, I think that I might be too middle of the road for people. I feel like if I actually had like maybe a definitive MO that I was doing, like Jamie is doing such a good job unearthing all of these like monsters, and I don't really have like just a thing that I'm doing. Maybe I'll just start like talking for a few minutes. I'm gonna stick with it until it does, Abby, no matter what. But maybe I should start releasing like 10-minute videos on things that you should and shouldn't do at a gig. Just random gig thoughts, just for my musician friends. Maybe that'll give me a niche, because I don't think I really have one. I don't think I have a niche or anything. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys get on with your lives. Abby, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to scoot on over to Jamie's chat if he's still live. gonna be doing some more cleaning. I cleaned up like the first little foyer of my house had like just clutter in it and stuff. That's where I keep my cardboards and things like that for when I'm taking it to to the dump. Which shit, I missed it by an hour. And it's closed tomorrow. Tuesday it is. But anyway, I cleaned up all of this area. Like I moved everything out of it and cleaned this little area, and that took me longer than I thought, so I didn't get anything else done. But I got to do dishes, got to do bathroom, I got to do my room, and I'm going to have all of that done by the end of the night. How about the Rays? What did the Rays do? Let's see. Yep, I'll have all that done by the end of the night, but you guys don't need to know that. Doesn't matter, does it? All right, guys. I'm gonna audio folks. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you downloading. Please download the podcast on iTunes. Go to Apple Store, iTunes Store, and subscribe to the podcast. Go to the podcast app in Apple, subscribe, and please go. If you have Android phones, you can listen through Spotify, and you can listen through Podomatic if you like, or mistuffpodcast.com. You can stream from there as well. But please leave me a review. Also, the blog is there. I've got a blog entry that I do about once every couple of weeks. And, that's on the website as well. So please go to the website, and you can find all the links to all the social medias there, except for my personal one, Yonder Wizard, Wizzerd, and Kelsey Hudgens on Twitter and on Facebook as well. Clown face. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful day, and I love you, and I mean it. In a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Peace, bitches. All right, Abby, we're going to do this. That's good. They won big. The Rays. The Braves won in extras today. We swept the Marlins, actually, so your cross-state rivals there, we took care of them 3 of 3. Let me get this intro done, darling. That's right, live from the Screwball Whiskey Studios. Hey guys, how you living? You doing well? Good. Glad to hear that. In this episode, I started off talking about just not being around as much, and just apologizing for not being around as much or not being as vocal as I would like to be as far as the podcast goes. And forgive me for being lax on releasing episodes this week. I will be releasing midweek episodes coming up to make up for some of the lost time that we had this past week. To make up for lost time. But just, making up for lost time, and we're going to be doing that. Probably going to be going live on Tuesday. As far as I know, that we've got plans on doing something on Tuesday. Still have to get Smitty back in here. We may try to do that tomorrow. I'm off all day tomorrow, so we might try to do that tomorrow. Not sure yet. But anyway, we're going to be getting some dates together as well. Brother Brian Rossler wants to come on and do an episode. Daryl Cherry as well. A few people that I saw at the Jamie Deluxe Lawrence LaRusso show the other night. And Jamie's going to be coming back soon, I'm sure. We'll be getting together again. We haven't in a while, so I'll be talking to him about coming back in soon and things of the sort. I think... Oh, yeah, by the way, in the middle of this episode, I sort of switched into talking about things in gigs and like the energy, room energy, and how it like a artist's energy and a room's energy have to sort of maintain the energy of a room. And you'll hear all this in a bit, but yeah, it's not all about the thing that I said a while ago. Whichever, I can't even remember what it was now. Who cares? I'm running out of time. Only got 2 minutes left to get all this stuff done. Okay. Please go to mistuffpodcast.com and click all of the links at the top of the page for all the social media stuff. All the social media stuff is there. You go to mistuffpodcast.com and click on all the links at the top of the page, and go to screwballwhiskey.com, SKREW ball whiskey, SK, screwball with a K, screwball whiskey with an E, WISKEY.com, and get you a bottle of Screwball peanut butter whiskey. I have been told it is delicious. So do that. And please, if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I am Yonder Wizard, WIZZERD, and at Kelsey Hudgens on Twitter and Facebook as well, the one with the clown face on Facebook, and YouTube. Please go to the YouTube page and click subscribe. We are one away from 300 subscriptions, and that's our goal for right now. So help us reach our goal right now by clicking subscribe. And once again, mistuffpodcast.com. Links to every other page that I would normally mention in the intro is there. So just go there to get it. Apple Podcast app on Apple. Please leave us a review. Let us know what you think. Also, please, Podomatic users or Android users can use Podomatic or Spotify, either one. Anyway, without further ado, episode number 141, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy, motherfuckers. All right, YouTubers, I appreciate you hanging out. I love you. I mean it. Click the link in the center of the page and click subscribe. Click the links at the top of the page. Watch a couple of those videos if you like. Be good people in a world full of shitty people. Don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Peace, bitches.